In the last episode, Josh and I came across a jungle while flying our airship, and in this jungle was a secret temple riddled with dangerous traps, all of which were attempting to deny us the treasure at the end of the temple. We were able to collect the treasure and escape unharmed. Boarding our airship again, we were able to set off and resume our journey, but now we're facing terrible failures. Oh, Josh, we're going down. Oh, hang on, I might be able to glide into one of these meadows up ahead. The last of our water supply had been used up, leaving our engines sputtering and our hopes fading. With a bit of luck, we spotted a small clearing ahead. A meadow. It's going to be a very tight fit, but we might make it.
Are we going to clear these trees? You got on the right.
With a cruel jest from the heavens, a sudden gust of wind sent us careening downward, the underbelly of our airship brushing against the lofty treetops. The forest below seemed to reach out with gnarled fingers, eager to claim us in its leafy embrace. The airship skidded along the grass, the wooden hull protesting with a symphony of creaks and groans. Josh and I clung to whatever we could find, bracing for the inevitable impact. With a deafening crash, the airship finally came to a stop, leaning dangerously to one side. Oh, we're going over, Josh! As we lay in the soft grass, battered and bruised, but alive, we knew that we had narrowly escaped our grassy grave. Our airship, once a symbol of dreams, now lay on its side, a testament to our struggle against the elements, but we were alive. And in that moment, I wish that we were still in the air. This sucks. Wow. Kaylee!
Kaylee was inside.
Kaylee... she's fine. She's standing on the window. Stranded in unfamiliar lands, we needed to get our priorities straight.
Do you know what happens at night?
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, Josh.
Is that sun definitely going up?
It is definitely going up. Josh, take my axe. Grab some wood, alright? I'm gonna go and find some water.
Yeah, well, I've got my own axe.
Oh, okay, I'll keep it then.
I'm not that ill prepared.
I volunteered to head out in search for a source of water, while Josh scouted for supplies and gathered wood for a shelter. Armed with multiple empty buckets from the airship, I set off towards a distant river we had spotted in the skies. Fortunately for my legs, there was a small lake that I was able to gather water from. While I was out, I stumbled across some various mushrooms that I had known to be edible from our time in the jungle. Meanwhile, Josh and Kaylee were out gathering wood, some to go towards a campfire and the rest to go towards tonight's shelter. We can, well, how about we put a log between, we do an A-frame. Big A-frame.
An A-frame.
Put a log between two trees. What do you think about these two just here? This one? Oh, they're not really lined up. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I spotted something. It was a zombie! I don't know where he came from. He came from over here.
God, it sounds deadly under here.
Oh, there's a cave system. From within the vile stench of this cave came this tiny little man sprinting at Josh with all his might, his legs moving too fast. With a final swoop of my sword, I was able to put this guy back in the ground.
Oh my god.
Look at them all! Look at them all! That little guy wasn't the sole inhabitant of this cave. Along with his family was his extended family, step family, cousins, third cousins, second... There's so many zombies!
Maybe you should block this up. I've got some planks there.
A little bit intrigued. All right, I'll block it up. I'm gonna try and scrounge whatever I can from the ship, alright?
Okay. I'm gonna try and find some logs that are lined up. Oh god. Have you seen this tree here? It's like something was scratching it. Something huge.
Oh. This one too. Head on a swivel, Josh, alright? Kaylee, don't kiss now. It's not the time for kisses. First thing we needed to do was find a sheltered place to shut up our shelter. Sorry. The first thing we needed to do was find a suitable place to set up our shelter. The ground needs to be relatively flat. We need to be sheltered from the elements, and we need to be somewhat invisible, camouflaged, in case anyone was to come looking for us. While Josh was finding that perfect spot, I was on the ship, gathering what I could to make our survival that little bit more easy. With a large trunk wedged between two trees, Josh was making headway on our shelter. Meanwhile, I went down into the cave to try and find some coal for a campfire. That was a mistake though, because the little guy had a lot more family. Josh! There's a baby!
What?
The baby's got out.
There's two.
Oh, I don't have the health for this. With two more children gnawing at the bit, trying to bite my ankles, they came running up into our campsite. Josh was able to strike one down, and thankfully the sunlight took the other.
Oh, it died. I don't have any food. Do you have food?
Yeah, here, we can split this.
Okay.
With the sun high in the sky, we were set up fairly well. We had a source of warmth and fire. We had a shelter, equipped with some cooking equipment I sourced from the ship, as well as a safety room for Kaylee, as they don't have any way of defending themselves. As we continued making this place feel like home as much as we could, I had to break some bad news to Josh. We might be stranded here for a little bit longer than we thought.
Ooh, what's the time? It looks like, I think the sun's starting to set. Is there a pond nearby that you found?
There was a pond nearby, yeah. I've got some water.
Oh.
That's where I went when you were chopping down some trees.
Wait, you've had water this whole time?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say anything?
Well, I wanted to let you know of one other thing there's something that broke in the crash.
Oh god. What's happened?
So the helm, the ship helm broke. Even if we can get it upright, we're not going to be able to fly it anytime soon.
Were you hanging on to it?
Yeah, I was white knuckles holding on to it as hard as I could, and I heard a snap, and it's
God.
We might be here a little bit longer than I thought.
Wow. Okay, I see what you mean though.
That was a tough cookie to crack to Josh, but we decided to focus on getting some dinner for tonight, as that was a little bit more important, I think. But hey, would you look here, a prime piece of pork. That's a lot of peas, and it's going to be in our bellies tonight. But this is where we ran into one small issue. We had to get used to being in the wilderness. No!
The bird!
Oh. Okay, Josh put the bird down, and I demanded it drop the meat. That was a close call. Drop the meat. Drop the meat.
Hey.
Drop the meat. No. No, come on.
I'm hungry.
Oh.
Oh, really? Is it going to eat it up there?
Going to taunt us? This was a harsh reminder that we are now members of the food chain. We're no longer in the safety and confines of the spruce hamlet, having food and resources aplenty. I couldn't be mad at this bird, however. After all, it was tired and hungry as well. And as the sun began to set, we decided to head back to camp. We're going to cook up what little fish we had left from the ship, and tomorrow we'll figure out where to get more food. After a somewhat nourishing meal of week-old fish and mushroom soup, it was time to discuss this helm. Josh and I were talking about what we would need in order to craft it out here in the wilderness. You know, for the most part, it's just wood. You know, some sticks, but there is some fine machinery in there that's made out of gold.
Right. Okay. We need gold, which means we need to go find gold or dig for gold. Plus we need a way to forge the gold into whatever components that needs. Good.
This is fine. It's fine.
I'm seeing movement out there just under the moon. I'm a little bit...
Oh, I see that as well.
It's getting closer.
While the campfire was necessary to cook our food and provide us warmth, it was attracting unwanted attention. We decided that we would sleep in shifts in order to keep Kaylee and each other safe. For now, we are trapped here for the foreseeable future, so Josh and I will adapt to this harsh environment. I've got this knife from the kitchen. Get some fibers from the grass. Last night, we slept about as good as the cameraman from our previous episode, the one that got killed by the saw blades. But the agenda today was to catch some fish, so I spent the morning getting some fibers from the local grass, twisting them together and getting string. But food wasn't the only thing that I needed to get today. I'm gonna go and look around, see if there's maybe a cave entrance or two. The one by our house didn't go very far.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to scout out the meadow that the airship came aground in hopes to find a cave deep enough to harbour gold. And what do you know it? This game doesn't disappoint when it comes to caves. And just on the opposite side of camp was this sinkhole, this great hole in the earth that would surely be home to some of that shiny gold. All right, Josh.
Yeah.
I found a very deep chasm that we can squeeze our way down. It's pretty promising.
Good. I caught a few fish.
Surprised you haven't dried the lake up of its residents.
Well, there's less biting now. In fact, now that you come over here, there's none biting.
As we stood by this pond, I told Josh about the cave that I'd found and what I thought I could see down in the distance. He grew excited and we made our way back to camp, cooked up a few fillets of fish that he had caught in this pond and decided to head over to the cave to check it out in person. Would it be as easy as it seems? Just delving down a little ways into this cave and finding some gold, piecing together our helm and flying out of here tomorrow? Well, the second half of that sentence probably not, but we wanted to have a look.
Oh, God.
Yeah, do you reckon there's gold down there?
Probably.
Filled with inspiration from Josh's answer, we donned our armor and headed down, being cautious of whatever monsters lurked in the dark.
Oh, watch out.
Yeah, I see him. As Josh was giving me support from above, I was looking around at the different ore deposits, but none of them were gold. Oh, there. Oh!
Oh!
Looking around, there was an abundance of different minerals and ores, but none of which were gold. Did I already say that? Oh, I did. Sorry. This is actually, I'm recording this in 2 days, and this is the second day, so I didn't look at... Sorry, that was my bad. I should have re-listened before I started yapping. Regardless of me breaking the illusion of this story, wouldn't you know it? You'd be surprised to find out that we didn't find any gold at all. It was quite defeating, actually. We headed back to the surface with no other riches than the defeat and loss in our heart. And on top of that, to make matters worse, it started raining. Of course, Mother Nature. Why?
It really is getting dark. And stormy.
Okay, we're gonna head back, make sure the freaking hut's not blown over. Not that I doubt your craftsmanship, Josh.
It's on there steady. I trust it.
Yeah, I trust it too, Josh. I'm sure it's fine. We made it back to camp with rainwater dripping down my back. It was getting in between my... As we passed the airship towards our camp, we noticed some monsters lurking around our camp, and our first thought was to check on Kaylee.
Kaylee!
Oh!
Oh god, help me!
Oh! We arrived just in time. Kaylee was trapped in her room by this wall-climbing spider. With the fresh water coming down from the skies, Josh had the brilliant idea to plant a few seeds in the ground by our camp. But now there were two things to look out for on our nightly watch. Monsters and crows pecking at our crops. Upon having a decent night's sleep and the storm passing overhead, we found ourselves at the pond early the next morning. I took a dive down into the river below, but not just for fun. I had a mission. I needed to search the riverbed for clay and mud. Aha! And it didn't take long at all. This riverbed had an abundance of clay and little deposits of mud. These two resources were going to be mixed together and dried out into the shape of bricks to be used as building blocks for a crude kiln, much akin to the one in the jungle outpost. Having clawed my way back up the cliff, we laid out the mud to dry. I was a bit skeptical, but Josh assured me that this is the best way to dry out this mud. And you think this will dry out quicker?
Well, this is... Just think about how much extra surface area this is.
Yes, like the cooling fins on a CPU.
Well, what else do we need?
We've got a basic food source. I think right now we're literally just waiting for this to dry out. We can do some exploration.
See if there's a vantage point. Maybe we can get a better look at the surroundings.
That was a great idea. We had spent 2 days here and not looked at the immediate surroundings at all. With nothing left to do but wait for this mud to dry, we had ample time to do it. So Josh and I set out on a small expedition near the camp to get a lay of the land, see what's around. And it wasn't long until we encountered these guys.
What are those? Do you see those little brown things?
Little brown things. The little mushrooms.
No,
those little...
us.
Oh!
Yeah, look, he's looking at us now.
Looks quite similar to myself, actually. Red, shaggy hair. 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth. Hello. Do you guys
have that camera? Are you trying to speak to them?
Well, if they look like me, they might communicate like me. I mean, you can't deny that logic right there. That's basic interaction. Of course, these apes might use an entirely different system for communication, but what if they do speak English? Chaos theory would suggest that the chances are slim, but never zero. Hello, can...
Oh, hello there. Are you a human?
Yes.
Are you able to understand me?
I understand.
Great. Well, could you kindly come here and help us?
Of course.
Ooh, yes.
Oh!
Yummy.
Oh!
Thank you.
They're picking nits. Guys, may you pick mine?
Of course we can. Yummy. Ooh, yes.
Having come from the jungle and not having showered in weeks, I'm sure these guys are having a feast in my hair. I was glad to offer my services to these guys and give them the feast that they so deserve. I offered a mushroom as a token of respect, and, he denied it, but that's fine. Give them a few more million years and they will understand the importance of mushrooms and their ecological value. We bid them farewell and continued exploring around the immediate area. We summited this little hill that was surprisingly cold.
Chilled to my bones.
I think that's all you can be chilled to. Wow.
Don't remind me.
The view from this hill was spectacular. Well, plains and trees as far as the eye can see, I think. Having spent a moment atop this hill taking in the scenery, we decided to head back and follow the surrounding forest around the edge of the meadow, alongside which was a raging canyon with a river running down below. The air rich with life as small insects and birds buzzed by us. Frolicking across the forest floor, we came across more animals, each so different from the last. Small and agile to large and in charge. This forest truly seemed to have it all. But with the sun starting to set, we didn't want to hang around and see what comes out at night. We made our way back to camp and settled down for a cozy night. The next morning I woke up bright and early to collect the mud that I had forgotten about the previous night, and then it sort of got a bit wet again from the dew, but I was able to fashion it into a few bricks and start laying the foundations to our kiln. In case you were wondering, this is what we're going to use to smelt the various ores that we come across in the caves in hopes to find gold. It is a crucial part in our attempt to escape. Well, Josh, we've got a bit of iron done, smelted up in our makeshift kiln here. You were talking about making while the ship's down, making a few adjustments.
So I reckon while it's in this state and we're down here and we're sort of fortified, we can probably do some upgrades. I think on this bottom side here, we might be able to chuck down a bottom deck or maybe hang off a platform to put some stuff on, because we've gotten some more stuff.
We have got a lot of equipment. No, I won't lie. All right, well maybe
Maybe
how
we
about
can build some stilts and maybe like a sled on the bottom, just so it sort of protects the hull.
I was thinking that's a good idea. Let's I mean, if we just fill the balloon with hot air, it should right, and then maybe we can build some supports for it and keep it upright. And so we've reached the point in the video where things take an uplifting turn. No pun intended, or maybe it was. Josh had the buckets of water that I collected on our first day here, and we were going to fill up the boilers, light the fires, and hopefully fill the balloon with hot air, enabling the ship to ride. Of course, riding the ship is only step one. We still don't have the helm, which is actually used to control the ship, so we won't be leaving this wilderness anytime soon. But having the ship upright and maybe on some stilts will give us some room to make some upgrades. As Josh said, maybe some more room for some storage. After all, we have picked up quite a few new items along the way. With the fires lit and water in the boilers, Josh was able to crank the engine to start and pump some steam into the balloon. Holding on to whatever we could for stabilization, we were able to right the ship, and Josh somehow didn't fall into the fires. But with the fires lit and steam being produced, we are only increasing lift. We're flying into the sky. Josh opened one of the hatches on the top of the balloon to reach an equilibrium and let the ship float in its buoyancy. And around it, we were able to build a temporary installment of timber supports. This will hold the ship in place until we are ready to leave. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm just going to throw this little bit in the end. If you saw the comment that I highlighted, each episode we're going to be highlighting a comment from the episode before. So go ahead and leave a comment of your favorite part or just something funny, and I'll find a way to tie it into the next episode. Just a little way to get your name in these episodes to thank you for watching. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode where Josh and I go down into the caves to try and find some gold. But it doesn't exactly go to plan.